When Victoria became queen, in 1837, English literature seemed to have entered upon a period. English literature. When Victoria became queen, in 1837, English literature seemed to have entered upon a period of lean years, in marked contrast with the poetic fruitfulness of the Romantic Age. Because the Victorian age was an age of democracy and education, it was an age of comparative peace. England began to think less of the pomp and false glitter of fighting, and more of its moral evils, as the nation realized that it is the common people who bear the burden and the sorrow of poverty, while the privileged classes reap most of the financial and political rewards. Moreover, with the growth of trade and of friendly foreign relations, it became evident that the social equality for which England was contending at home belonged to the whole race of men, that brotherhood is universal, not insular, that a question of justice is never settled by fighting wars. The Romantic Revival had done its work, and England entered upon a new free period, in which every form of literature, from pure romance to gross realism, struggled for expression. First, though the age produced many poets, this was emphatically an age of prose. And since the number of readers had increased 1,000-fold with the spread of popular education, it was the age of the newspaper, the magazine, and the modern novel, the first two being the story of the world's daily life. The novel was a pleasant form of literary entertainment, as well as our most successful method of presenting modern problems and modern ideals. The novel, in this age, filled a place which the drama held in the days of Elizabeth, and never before had a novel appeared in such numbers and in such perfection. Bessie asked if I would have a book. The word book acted as a transient stimulus, and I begged her to fetch Gulliver's Travels from the library. This book I had again and again perused with delight. I considered it a narrative of facts, and discovered in it a vein of interest deeper than what I found in fairy tales. For as to the elves, having sought them in vain among foxglove leaves and bells, under mushrooms and beneath the ground ivy mantling old wall nooks, I had at length made up my mind to the sad truth, that they were all gone out of England to some savage country where the woods were wilder and thicker, and the population more scant, whereas, Lilliput and Brobdingnag being, in my creed, solid parts of the earth's surface, I doubted not that I might one day, by taking a long voyage, see with my own eyes the little fields, houses, and trees. Yet, when this cherished English literature Yet, when this cherished volume was now placed in my hand, when I turned over its leaves, and sought in its marvelous pictures the charm I had, till now, never failed to find, all was eerie and dreary. The giants were goblins, the pygmies malevolent and fearful imps, Gulliver a most desolate wanderer in most dread and dangerous regions. I closed the book, which I dared no longer peruse, and put it on the table, beside the untasted tart. Bessie had now finished dusting and tidying the room, and having washed her hands, she opened a certain little drawer, full of splendid shreds of silk and satin, and began making a new bonnet for Georgiana's doll. Meantime she sang, "A long time ago." I had often heard the song before, and always with lively delight, for Bessie had a sweet voice, at least, I thought so. But now, though her voice was still sweet, I found in its melody an indescribable sadness. Sometimes, preoccupied with her work, read the path, then choose the correct way to complete the pets are loyal. Compare rescue groups with animal shelters. Offer a solution to the problem of animals in shelters. Pets are loyal companions and can benefit their owners in a number of ways. Apart from being a companion and playmate, a pet brings joy and relaxation to its owner. Hilary Johnson, a renowned psychologist, in her article "A Pet is the Best Medicine," states that a pet can benefit its owner both emotionally and psychologically. She says that pets have the ability to reduce anxiety and contribute to the overall well-being of their owners. Animal shelters and rescue organizations. In the United States, thousands of animals, especially dogs and cats, end up in animal shelters every year, and the numbers are increasing every day because most people prefer buying pets from breeders to adopting from shelters or rescue organizations. Animal shelters are full of pets who are either lost or have been abandoned by their owners. Compare rescue groups with animal shelters. In the United States, thousands of animal shelters are full of pets who are either lost or have been abandoned by their owners. Even though shelters and rescue Animal shelters are full of pets who are either lost. Even though shelters and rescue organizations provide care for animals, the animals crave love and are in desperate need of a home and a family. Adopting pets saves money and time. Adopting a pet from an animal shelter is cheaper, or sometimes free, as opposed to buying one from a pet shop. Most animal shelters contain pets that have already been vaccinated and house-trained. Pets that have lost their homes in the past are usually aware of the basic commands and do not require extensive training. Pets that have lost their homes in the past are usually aware. Moreover, there are organizations such as the Shelter Pet Project that focus mainly on promoting animal adoption and providing people with pets of various breeds. This type of organization allows a person to adopt a pet of any age, color, or breed. Supporting nonprofit organizations. Many rescue groups and animal shelters are nonprofit organizations. Adopting a pet from such an organization not only means providing a home and giving a new life to an animal, but it also means supporting a good cause. Adopting a pet would create space for other animals that need shelter, and the money that the organizations receive from adoptions could be utilized in taking good care of the animals that are kept in shelters. Adopting brings happiness. Adopting a pet means helping an animal that is in desperate need of a home. The pride and joy that a person gets from adopting Read these lines from Nelson Mandela's inaugural address. Out of the experience of an extraordinary human disaster that lasted too long, must be born a society of which all humanity will be proud. Out of the experience of an extraordinary human disaster that lasted too long, must be born a society of which word shares a similar meaning to the word extraordinary as used in which two details best refine the author's claim that the materials used for shoe design have evolved over time. But people who don't wear shoes have wider feet and bigger gaps between their big toe and the other four. In studying bones of the smaller toes of fossil, despite the ancient Egyptians made sandals from papyrus and the Maasai of Africa used rawhide. South Americans wove sandals from the leaves of the South Americans wove sandals from the leaves of the sisal plant, and the Anasazi people of Mexico and Arizona used the yucca plant. Most soles are made from synthetic materials such as ethylene, vinyl, acetate, rubber, and polyurethane, which provide better traction, durability, and water resistance than leather soles. Most soles are made from synthetic